Guys, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I hope that you guys have been enjoying my videos. I hope that you guys have been finding them useful and hopefully you've been learning from them, which is all that I really want. In this video, I wanted to kind of speak to you guys about how, INFJs have a lot of thoughts in their head. Actually, we spend most of our time in our head and we have a lot of different ideas and thought processes that are going through our head all the time. In fact, I find that my head is the loudest place in the world. I can be walking through a really, 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 really loud place, but when I leave that loud place and I come into silence, I realize still that there's a lot of loudness, if that's a real word, in my head because there's always so many thoughts going on in my head, right? I don't know if you guys have read Harry Potter. I am a big fan of Harry Potter. I love J.K. Rowling. She's a brilliant, brilliant writer. And the Harry Potter series is obviously one of the best book series in the world. But more than that, in that there's this idea that she presents called the Pensieve, Pensieve, which is basically a crystal bowl kind of thing where Dumbledore and Snape and other witches and wizards, they take out, using their wand, they take out their thoughts, which are silvery little light things, and they put them into the Pensieve. Now, the reason they do that is because, their thoughts or their heads get so full with ideas and processes and things like that that they feel overwhelmed. And I know that as soon as I read the Pensieve idea, I know that I do that myself. Not obviously with a Pensieve, but my own kind of Pensieve, which is the journal. And the reason I recommend journaling to all INFJs all the time, I recommend two things to you guys all the time, is meditation and journaling. And the reason I recommend journaling so much, it's because it is a sort of Pensieve for us. Most INFJs will spend a lot of their time being overwhelmed by the thoughts and ideas in their head. We are always thinking, we're always spending all of our time in our head. We're not able to ground ourselves, we're not able to spend time in this real physical world that we live in. We're always here, right? We forget that we have this body that needs taken care of as well. That's why we forget to eat, that's why we forget to sleep, that's why we forget all those physical needs that we have, right? The reason I love the journal or my Pensieve is because when I get overwhelmed by all of these thoughts in my head, and usually I get overwhelmed at least once a day because I'll be, doing things all day long, and by the time the end of the day comes along, I am exhausted, obviously, but also I have so many thoughts in my head that I really, 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 really need to journal or use my Pensieve in order to take all those thoughts, put them into the Pensieve, into the journal, and then have my head be a little bit free, a little bit less heavy, a little bit less filled, a little bit more empty, just having some more space. And I know a lot of you guys have probably experienced this for yourself as well, where you feel you're walking through the world and you think to yourself, I need to go and hide in the corner because I feel so overwhelmed by all the thoughts in my head, but also by all the events that are happening in my life. Right? There's so much happening in our lives all the time. I know a lot of you guys complain that you're bored, but if you really thought about it, there is always so much happening in this world, always so much happening in our heads, always so much happening in this realm, this physical realm that we live in, right? And so one of the main things that I recommend for all INFJs is to start a process of journaling. And not bullet journaling, not bujos, because that's just not going to work for us. It has to be longhand, full form journaling. It has to be a notebook and a pen, and you sit down with it once a day, once every 2 days max, and sit down and write down what's going on in your head. Basically, what you're doing is using a Pensieve. You're taking out thoughts from your head and putting them out on paper. And as soon as you do that, especially with your fingers, when you're writing with your fingers, it's a direct connection to your heart and your brain. And so basically, you're taking all that stuff out, all of those things that are filling up your head and making you go crazy. All of those things, you're taking them out and then putting them down on paper. You never have to read them again. It's not that something that you're going to go and read and consult again. You're just taking it out all and putting it on paper. Now, these are all the thoughts that are kind of crowding out more important thoughts, right? So basically, the thoughts that you're putting out on paper, it doesn't matter what they are really, but what's happening in the process is that you are freeing up space in your brain so that you can have more space to think about the more important thoughts, right? Because instead of worrying about if the water that you're drinking has fluoride and if that's killing your some pituitary gland, or if it's causing your third eye to be blocked or things like that. I mean, like random shit like that. If you're worrying about all of this stuff, instead of worrying about all those things, it allows you, if you put that down on paper, it allows you to think about the more important things in life. Like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What is the reason why the universe put me here? And how can I make this world a better place? How can I use my talents and abilities and create a better world for the next generation? Blah, 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 right? And so there's a lot of different ideas and thoughts and important questions that we are not answering and we're not even thinking about because we're way too busy thinking about all of these low level questions or thoughts or having all these low level ideas in our head, right? That's what we do with the pensieve or with the journal, is that we take all of those anxiety producing low level thoughts and we put them down on paper. Some days I'll be sitting and journaling, and all I'm writing all through the journal is, I'm here, I am here, I'm here right now, I'm here in this world right now, I'm here because I feel so crazy and I feel so out there and up and down that I need to write this down on paper to remind myself over and over again that I'm here, and I'm here in this body, and I'm here in this world, and the world is mine, and I'm here right now, and I'm here right now. That's all I need to remind myself of, right? Some other days I'll be sitting down and something really major has happened during the day. Perhaps I had a fight with my mother, or perhaps I had an altercation with my colleague or my boss, or whatever it might be. And I feel like, wow, I feel really overwhelmed by all the emotions that are taking over me right now. And what I'll do is I'll sit down and write all that stuff down on paper. This is what I felt, this is what happened, this is how it went down, and I feel terrible because of this, and I feel good because of this, blah, blah, blah. And I'll write all of it down. And all of a sudden, all that anxiety that I was feeling, all that overwhelmedness that I was feeling because of all the thoughts in my head, all that dissipates. And I feel relaxation, I feel calm, I feel peace pervading me. And it's so powerful just by the act of writing stuff down. It's so, so important. It's so important that I think those are the two things that I will never miss every single day. I meditate, and every single day I journal. Those are the two habits that are basically the pinnacle, the foundation of everything that I've built till now. If I don't do those things, actually I never not do those things, but if I miss the day, which usually doesn't happen, if I did, I know that my whole world would fall apart because I'd feel so much anxiety and so much, I'd feel overwhelmed. I feel so off. I'd feel like something's missing, right? And so I recommend this to you guys as well, especially on those days where something major has happened, or you're going through something really, really crucial right now. Perhaps you're going through a breakup. Journaling is such a great way to get through that. Perhaps you're looking for a new job, or you're doing a major change or overhaul of your life. Perhaps you had a fight with one of the most loved ones in your life, or perhaps you're going through a door slam. Whatever it might be, any kind of process that you're going through, any kind of extreme process where you need a lot of thinking, where you're going through a lot of emotions and feelings, I recommend that you use the pensieve or the journal in order to take all that stuff out and put it down on paper. It also is a really good way of normalizing everything, because when you're thinking in your head and when you are in your head, everything seems so big and so important and so out there, and you're like, oh my god, this is really huge. And then you put it down on paper and it just normalizes everything. You think, oh, this is not that bad, or oh, it's not as important or as big as I imagined it would be. And it just really, really makes everything much more manageable. And so all of a sudden, you're not feeling like, oh my god, your world is falling apart. You realize, okay, my world isn't falling apart. Everything is fine. Everything is normal, and I can go on and move on with my life. So journal is really, really, for me, it's been one of the best key ways in order to get over not only all the social anxiety that I was feeling in the past, but getting over all of these emotions and feelings of not being good enough, of wanting to do more but not being able to, of all of the different things that are happening in my life, my parents' health issues and my family issues and all this stuff. So there's so much going on all the time in everyone's lives. And I found that journal is the best way to get over it. To use the journal in order to normalize everything and to not accept it perhaps, but to deal with it better, right? You kind of put it out on paper, and all of a sudden it's not this big bad monster that's in your head. It's manageable, and you can look at it and be like, okay, cool, I can deal with this. It's not as bad as I imagined it would be, right? So I don't know if you guys read Harry Potter. If you haven't, I do recommend it. I think it's a brilliant book, and a brilliant series. But in general, I do recommend using a journal if you are not already. I obviously recommend daily journaling. I get up every morning and I write my thoughts out. Sometimes I only write a paragraph, sometimes I write 2 or 3 pages. Depends on the day, depends on how much I'm feeling, how much is going on. And if there's a lot going on, then I'll spend some time journaling in the evening as well, right? Before I go to sleep. But I do recommend once a day, at least once a day. If not possible, then at least every 2 days or every 3 days, but at least once a week for sure, to get all that stuff out and to clear up your head, clear up your mind, clear up your heart, and move onwards, move forward, and be able to kind of move into the next phase of your life, whatever that might be. Okay? Yeah, and I hope this makes sense to you guys. I hope that I've been able to explain myself to you guys. If you guys have any questions at all, please message me anytime. I'm here to answer all your questions. All my contact information is in the description below, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.